It's said that life is a journey best traveled with friends.
Along the way are adventures and misadventures. But if you're Miz Mel's friend, you'll find some Miz adventures.
Join Miz Mel for misadventures with friends and explore the paths of friendship.
Welcome to you. I'm your hostess, Miz Mel, and today on Misadventures with Friends, I'm still on the road. We've had a series of episodes where I've been visiting with friends at a camp, and I just had to pin down another friend. I wish I could interview everybody that's here, but I just don't have the time, and they're busy. I'm telling you, I'm glad I'm not here at camp on staff anymore because they just stay too busy. Now I know why I was so exhausted when I got home. But today I'm going to be visiting with my friend Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hey, how are you?
Kate is tired because Kate's been here for a week already with camp, and they're into their second week. But we're going to talk a little bit about friendship, our friendship, and what this journey in life is like, having friends and the friends we make. So thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
With me. I'm just tickled to get to see you. Now, we're long distance friends.
Yes.
Kate lives in another state from me, and we stay in communication with one another, but we only see each other face to face maybe once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it revolves around camp.
Yes.
And camp time, unless it's camp planning time.
Right.
And then we might encounter each other. I go down and visit. But Kate, you see a lot of relationships in your position here at camp, both positive and negative relationships,
Correct.
both with adults and with girls.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we're going to get to some tough questions, and it's going to get you out of your tiredness, I hope. The girls come in here expecting to make new friends.
Mm-hmm.
As a parent, also, and as a camp, working with this camp, what do you do with that kid that just can't seem to make friends?
That can be a tough one, and we actually have seen that this year at camp. There's different reasons that a girl may struggle to make friends. One of them is shyness. One of them is a difficult personality, and other girls struggle to connect with her because of a difficult personality. Some girls are just naturally introverted and standoffish, and so it just takes a lot of coaxing and encouraging them to join in with the group, like at lunchtime and things like that. You see them sitting alone, and going over and connecting and encouraging those girls to connect with one another. With difficult personalities, that can be a real challenge because you're working on both ends. You're working on the girl herself and helping her to see how she can be a friend, and working with those other girls that are potential friends in accepting her despite her rough edges. So it can be challenging for a lot of different reasons. But we see great friendships happen, and generally by the end of the week, a girl who's a loner has found someone that they can connect with. And it's a beautiful thing. I love watching the girls. There's so many different personalities here. Like you said, a lot of times girls may come as a group, friends already, and some of those girls are, I just want to be with my friends that I came with. And we're trying to encourage them make new friends, And we've seen some beautiful friendships happen here at camp. Friendships that have lasted years. And that's the goal when you have like-minded folks gathering to build those lasting friendships. And it's a beautiful thing to watch that happen. It's a privilege to watch that happen.
Yes, yes.
A very big privilege. With adults too, not just girls, adults too. So
Well, you do have some adults. There's various ages here at camp.
Yes.
There are the campers of elementary to high school age. Then you have a group that's in the high school age that have more responsibilities.
Correct.
They're seasoned campers, and they have their junior staff responsibilities.
Correct.
And then you've got your already graduated from high school
Young adult.
young women who are maybe not quite 21 yet, but
Yes.
they love camp and
Yes.
they want to serve.
hmm
And then you've got a wide range of adult ages.
That's correct.
How do you think most people feel about having friends in different age groups? And I say that because, sometimes we have children who think I can only be friends with somebody who's in my class at school, in my grade, and right there with me. I can't have a friend that's older than me or younger than me.
hmm
But then we reach a point in life where it's like, okay, we're all out here together now.
Right, right.
I know myself, I've got friends that range from in age, and I consider good friends, in their 20s
hmm
all the way up into their 80s.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody's hit their 90s yet, but maybe I'll be somebody's friend someday when I'm in my 90s.
Right. Yep.
But can you speak to that just a little bit? What is the age range of your friends group?
My friends.
The primary friends group.
My primary friends, early 20s to 65, 70. For myself personally.
Do you approach those friendships differently based on what their ages are?
A little bit. Yeah. I think so. When you're looking at someone older than you, it's with respect, looking up to them, the wisdom that they have, trying to learn from their experiences. They've already walked the path, so to speak. And then with some of the younger friends, trying to be a good role model and someone that they can look up to. Yeah. And both friendships, older and younger, have so much to add to me personally. The younger friendships keep me young.
Yes, I was
help me.
telling Mary and Bentley that. Yes, definitely.
They help me connect to my younger side, and they're fun. They're the ones that are full of energy, and sometimes I think, man, I wish I had some of that energy. But yeah, I mean, they really what it boils down to is we're better together, and kind of having this attitude, well, I can only be friends with people the same age. You're missing out on a whole lot.
Definitely.
You are missing out on a whole lot.
Definitely.
Being able to connect with older people and younger, and I see this with the girls. We want our younger girls to be able to look up to those older girls, but we try really hard to teach those older girls that just because you may be in a type of leadership role, you're here for those younger girls. It's not just about setting an example, it's about connecting with the younger girls and building friendships with them. And we've seen a lot of that this week. It's actually been a beautiful thing. When some of our older girls go walking across camp and the younger girls are calling their names, hey, and those older girls stop and they spend time with them. I love to see that. It makes me happy.
They're modeling.
They
modeling
are.
good friendships.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was when I was talking with off of recording with Mary and Bentley, I said, it's important to surround yourselves with people of different ages, and I wish I had been able to do that when I was much younger.
I agree.
My closest friend group varies in age. When we first became friends, varied in age from early 30s to 50. And we've kind of grown together and done life together, and so we've grown through a lot of years. But prior to that, and I was on the older end of that spectrum, prior to that, I didn't have friends that were that much younger than me or that much older than me. Really didn't have any close friends at all.
Mm.
And I told Bentley and Mary, I said, you know, you need that. You
Mhm.
need to be friends with someone who has been there, done that,
Right.
because they can give you terrific insight.
Wisdom, yes.
I wish somebody older than me had told me about
yes.
menopause.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes.
Give you that clue in, or
Right.
you know, I've heard, you know, how we've talked with younger women. They're in their first pregnancy,
Mhm.
and they don't know what to expect.
Right.
You know, the whole idea of what to expect when you're expecting. Well, you want to find that out? Talk to some mamas who've been there,
Right.
done that.
Definitely, definitely.
And every stage of life can feed into those who are in a younger stage.
Yes, I agree. And I think, too, adding on to that, I think one of the messages that I would have loved to have heard when I was younger is that you are perfect the way you are. In other words, not perfect in God's eyes, but perfect in the sense that you are who He made you to be. You don't need to compare yourself to others. You need to feel good about who you are. And that is something I struggled with. And I think having someone to kind of feed that into me and say, hey, you know, you have this talent and you can do this, and do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Just building one another up.
Right.
Building one another up. Because I spent a lot of time, you know, worrying about what people think of me, or I'm not good enough, or I don't look good enough, or whatever it was. And I think back and I think, what a waste of time. How many years did I spend wasting my time worrying instead of living life and being who
Right.
God made me to be? And being able to instill that in younger girls or young women to know that they're exactly who they're made to be. And they're good enough. They're good enough. And that's what I want these girls. I want these girls to walk away from here knowing that they're loved, they're cherished, with all their crazy personalities and little quirks that we all have. You know, I know girls this age, you know, they compare themselves. And society is not kind to these
No.
girls. And being able to look at themselves in the mirror and know that, yeah, I'm a work in progress, but God loves me. He loves me. That's super important to me.
Yes.
You're listening to Miz Adventures with Friends.
Let's kind of go a little bit of a different direction, because we've been talking about what we pour into other people.
Mm-hmm.
What about your own friendships, your close friendships? Do you have a long-term friend?
I do have one long-term friend. When you say long-term, you mean
Like, y'all been hanging through thick and thin for years.
I had a good friend that I had as a childhood friend. Well, we met when we were teenagers, but we've kind of drifted apart over the last 5 years. Not like nothing specific. She just lives on the other side of the country, and it's very hard to keep in contact. So we're not close in that way like we used to be. I would say my longest term friend currently is, 8 or 9 years. And as we have friendships, we change, people drift apart, they connect, I feel like friendships are ever evolving.
Right.
And you have those friendships that they are lifetime friendships. You may remain really close, or it's more. I do have a friend that I've known for a long time, and we don't keep in steady contact, but when we see each other, it's like we pick up where we left off.
People
Does that
who
make sense?
Yeah, maybe
like,
have not had close friendships as children.
Yes.
Once they get into a situation where suddenly it's like, oh, I have friends.
Mhm.
The expectation is those are going to be friends for life.
Right.
When in reality, we have friends for seasons.
Yes, we do.
And we may drift apart. I think
Mhm.
about, there are friends that I had in college that I would love to be able to see and reconnect with and talk with, but I don't think it would click.
Right.
Because we've gone different directions.
Exactly.
I'm not the person I was when I was in college.
Right.
I don't think like I thought when I was in college. I don't have the same set of values
Correct.
that I had when I was in college.
Right.
Not that I don't cherish the memory of those friendships.
Right.
And I'm very proud of some of those friends that I had. They've done very well and had some of them are actually famous and have had really wonderful careers, and I'm very proud of what they've done with their lives. And I will always say that those were friends from college. But I think if you put us all in a room together again, there wouldn't be sparks, but there'd be tension.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, the old idea of how many friends can I collect on Facebook. I look at that number and I think, how do I know all these people?
Right.
And they're not really friends, more acquaintances.
Yeah.
But there might have been short-term friendships.
Right, closeness with them.
That I think it's important to have those kind of short-term friendships. Along that line, you know, conflict resolution, it's hard. It's when you're having conflict with a friend.
Yes, it is.
If you're having conflict with somebody you just don't like, flat out, it's a lot easier to just break and go.
Right.
It's a lot more difficult when it's
someone
with your friend.
someone who you've been very close with.
So, how do you handle a friendship that maybe is too demanding, it's draining? In other words, it's an unhealthy friendship. How do you handle that as an adult? And then, how would you advise one of these girls that we have at camp that might be in an unhealthy relationship or a young adult?
That's a really hard question to answer. Because I don't 100% have the perfect answer for that. I think with all friendships, you know, we've got to love one another, care about one another, but there are times when it's not good for either person to maintain that friendship. And so walking away, in essence, is the best thing while still being kind. It's hard. That's hard. That's really hard. I think it's super important, and I'm speaking from personal experience, that, you know, when you do have that painful friendship that just doesn't need to continue, that you move on. You don't, because I see people do this, you know, they've ended a friendship and then they proceed to go talk badly about the person or drag it out, dredge it on, and, you know, that doesn't do anybody any good. So let's, you know, you've got to walk away and kind of let it be in the past. When you cross paths, it's with kindness, but that mutual understand. Hopefully, there's that mutual understanding that, you know, you both understand that maybe we're not meant to be the best of friends. and well, I can speak to this with these girls, and how I've dealt with it with working with these girls. So you've got a group of girls that are just not being kind to one another. You know, I tell these girls, you don't have to be best friends with everyone. You don't have to be everyone's friend, but you do have to be kind and considerate. There are people that you mesh really well with. I have meshed with you. I look up to you. I value you. I know that I can talk to you about anything. And I'm accepted with love and compassion, but you will also tell me the truth when I need to hear it. But there are people that I don't feel that way about. And there are people that I feel like they would judge me and looked harshly at me. And so it's a choice on my part to not judge them. In other words, I can't just decide that I don't like that person, and I still have to be kind, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's easier said than done, because sometimes it's really hard to be kind to people. But I think, sometimes we have to value ourselves enough to say, that relationship is not good for me. I can see what that's doing to me. And that's to me, that's one of the hardest things, though, because I don't like conflict. I find conflict very difficult, and I find walking away from a friendship very difficult. And so I don't even like to talk about it. I'm not going to lie. This is an uncomfortable topic for me, because I struggle with it personally to this day. Because I want everyone to like everyone.
Everybody get along.
Like, why can't we be friends? Like, I just want us all to be lovey-dovey happy. And it isn't like that sometimes. No. It isn't like that. And it's hard for me. And I've lost a friendship over the last year that, it was, I cried a lot. I cried a lot over it. But now that some time has passed, though, I can look back and say, oh, that was for the best. Yeah. But in the moment, it's painful and it's difficult. And you're right. When you're younger, you think, you have this friend and you just think it's going to last forever. But people change, seasons change, things change. And it's hard. That's a hard one.
Certainly is.
It's tough.
Certainly is. Well, Kate, look, if we were not friends and we just met and we thought, I might like to be this person's friend, what will you be bringing to our friendship? And what do you think is important to bring to a friendship?
Acceptance. That's one of the top things on my list. Listening and getting to know someone, not being all about me, but listening. I think listening and acceptance, and being a friend. And that, I can remember when I was younger, being a friend it's a thing. Like, you have to learn to be a friend. You have to learn.
That was going to lead me to my next question.
Okay.
Being a friend. Well, what's a friend?
Right.
What's a friend?
A friend.
I always thought a way I remembered how to spell that is because, all this I before E and E before I, and we all get confused.
Oh, yes, I do.
Thank you, English language.
Yes.
I learned to spell friend because it ended. And that's the way I looked at friendship for a long time. Friend ends. E-N-D is the last three letters. But friendships don't have to end like that. It doesn't have to be a fry end.
Right. A fry end.
A fry end. But what is a friend? What makes a good? What would make you a better friend? How's that?
Oh, what would make me a better friend? Well, I think, like I said before, listening, spending time, putting that, having that person on your radar, talking to them, making time for them, letting them know they're important to you. And sometimes it's hard to do in our busy lives. I can speak to our friendship. I think about you a lot, but do I send you a message? Do I pick up the phone?
No, you send me memes.
I do. I do send you memes.
This is and I'm your meme junkie.
Right.
Because, if you missed one, I'll send it to you.
But like, I can say to you, just because you don't hear from me doesn't mean, because I do, I think of you often. Or I'll be in a situation, I'm like, wonder what she would say, or wonder what advice she would have. So
this is welcome to the Miz Mel Admiration Club.
Yes, no,
oh my goodness.
No, it's not. But I'm being serious. I think if you knew how much I think of you, or other friends that I have, you would know, well, yeah, she really does value me, but am I really showing it? And I can say that about a lot of people. It's
Right.
not just you.
I
Like,
agree.
I can say that
find
about a lot
myself
of people.
in the same situation.
You know, and I think, I feel like in our busy lives, it takes extra effort to be a friend. I feel like society conspires against us because you're running here, you're running there, like and so you have to be very intentional to.
Here's that word again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intentional. You have to work at it. It doesn't just happen magically. It takes work to have a good friendship on both people's side.
Agreed. Was there anything else that you'd like to add to this conversation with regard to your own personal friendships, or with what your expectations are here at camp? And I have to tell you a camp story about friendship.
Okay.
We had a new family coming to camp one time, and Mom wanted to be a volunteer, and she had been following us, the camp news and our website and Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So she saw the happy sides of camp, which that's what we put on social media, right? The happy stuff. Unless we're in real need of sympathy, we put all the happy stuff up there. And the first day of camp, she came up and she said, "Miz Mel." I said, "Yes, that's who I am. Welcome to camp." And she got 2 inches away from my face and said, "I want to be your new friend. And we're going to have a great time at camp." Well, I'm a very personal space oriented person.
Yes.
Unless I know you well, and
Right.
then I'll hug you, because I'm a hugger.
Right.
That startled me,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, my goodness, how am I going to model this so that the girls that are standing around watching and hearing this are going to
Have a positive
influence on this, instead of my just saying, "Get out of my face, I don't know who you are."
Right.
And which is what my insides were saying. They were screaming, "Please get out of my face." It ended up being a good week at camp, but that always nagged me all week, because here was a person who was struggling and fighting hard to be my friend. Like, some things just have to happen.
Yeah.
Some things have to click, and you don't always click with everybody.
No.
And it goes back to the old adage of, you can be friendly, but you don't always have to be friends.
Exactly.
And that that really nailed it right there for me. And I did my best to be as friendly as I could.
Right.
And not let on that, I really didn't want to be friends with this lady.
Right.
And we find ourselves in that. And
Yes.
again, it goes back to what you said. It's showing kindness.
Yes.
You can be kind, and I'm not telling the story, being gossipy and saying I don't like this lady. I hope she never comes back into my life again. And we've crossed paths again over the years, and it's been personable and not a problem. But that to say, be careful who you want to be friends with,
Right.
and make sure that it's a two-way street.
Right. Right.
It's
and adding to that, in this society and in this day and age, sometimes people want to be friends with who the popular people are, or who the quote important person is. And what's the motivation behind that?
Exactly.
Are they looking for a friendship, or are they looking to get, what are they after?
What is their
What's
modus
their intention?
operandi?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And being wary of friendships that, might be Yeah, it's hard. It can be hard to navigate relationships and friendships, and hoping that and I can say, you asked me if there was anything I wanted to say. I can say for me that I've seen a lot of different seasons in my life with friends and friendships, and good friends, bad friends, good influences, bad influences. And with regards to camp, like, these camp folks are some of the best friends I have. I see them once to twice a year, but they're the ones that I can pick up the phone to anytime, and they're my people.
Something about sweating and crying.
There is, and going through
all that together. Yeah,
it does something. And I mean, I have friends at home, but I can say I don't have close friends. At home.
I get it.
Yeah. So there are people that are put in your path that you just connect with on a different level, that you can, they're there, and they accept you, and they love you, and I love you enough to tell you when you're messing up, love you enough to lift you up and encourage you. And
they're having a buddy check down at the lake. So I got my buddy here, so here, we're good.
Buddies.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that camp brought us together as friends.
Yes.
It has brought so many wonderful friends into my life.
And blessings, just awesome blessings.
Yes, one right after another. So thanks to our friend Kate for chatting with us today and sharing another Miz adventure with me.
Absolutely.
And we may have her back one day when she's not so tired.
Yeah.
We'll zoom in and reevaluate some of these, and maybe share some more camp friendship stories and other stories. So thanks, friends, old and new, for journeying with us. Our friendship quote for today we'll tag on once we get back into the studio. We'll run it at the end. Give us a thumbs up and become our friend on Facebook and Instagram. Now I want you to go make a friend and be a friend. Thanks, Kate. I'll see you.
Thank you.
In the sweetness of friendship, let there be laughter, for in the dew of little things, the heart finds its morning and is refreshed. Khalil Gibran.
Misadventures with Friends is a production of Depot Street Studios and Rocket 88 Broadcasting. Music is from Storyblocks.com.